Hello everyone, Niklsun here, and welcome to Coming Soon Movie News with Niklsun. I'm your host, and on this show we're going to be breaking down all of the day's movie news and kind of giving a little bit of background into what it means for the production in general, such as casting decisions, trailer announcements, director announcements, things like that. So, without any further ado, let's get started with today's hot topics. And the first topic we have to talk about today is DC and Warner Brothers have finally come out and announced what the official title of the upcoming Man of Steel sequel, or what we've all come to know it as Batman vs. Superman, what the official title is. And I'll bring up the title card here. The official title of the movie is Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice, which a lot of people online, if you go in and look at this, a lot of people are upset about it because it's too long, it's too wordy, it's not world's finest, not this, not that. I'm confused why they went with V instead of versus, but unless it's just their determination of what that means is versus. But I really like it. I am totally on board for it. It talks about the two main plot points that are going to be addressed in this movie, the two primary plot points. Plot number one, Batman fighting Superman, the two of these superpowers or superheroes going up against one another. The second, introducing modern average moviegoers to the world of the Justice League, because the Justice League is the next DC movie that we know is coming out after this. So I mean, it makes so much sense that they would have a tie-in to the Justice League. There was a title online that I saw that I thought fit perfectly well, although the amount of rights issues that would have to come into play with dealing with the title, but Man of Steel: The Dark Knight Returns. Because that's essentially what this movie's storyline is borrowing from. That's how even they introduced the movie at Comic-Con last year, was Harry Lennox, I believe, who played General Strawwick in Man of Steel, or Strenwick. He was brought out and he read a passage from The Dark Knight Returns. And I mean, it's about a veteran Batman who we know Ben Affleck is playing a veteran Batman. All this stuff started coming out that made sense, and then they actually dropped the title and the title card today, which I think the title card looks great. It's pretty much the same thing that we saw last year at Comic-Con. But I have absolutely no problem with the Dawn of Justice tie-in, because especially the fact that, as one of the other online sources, I believe it was at Screen Rant, they said like everyone's going to get up in arms now and super excited because DC and Warner Brothers have a canonical Batman Superman movie with the title of, or with the word justice in the title, which is fantastic. Like, that means that we're actually getting the Justice League. It's been announced, but I mean, it was announced back in 2007. The director, George Miller, the director of Mad Max and Happy Feet and a bunch of other films, he was gearing up and literally this close to starting production on a Justice League movie back in 2007. Now, from what I understand, it was going to be completely motion captured. But they had Armie Hammer, before Social Network, they had Armie Hammer cast as Batman. They had DJ Controna, who was in the recent G.I. Joe movie. He was Superman. They had Adam Brody from the OC as the Flash. They had the rapper Common as Green Lantern. I'm assuming as Jon Stewart. I'm drawing a blank to the other two. I know one of them was Wonder Woman, and the other one I can't remember. I think it was either Aquaman or Green Arrow. I think it was Aquaman. But that movie went all the way up to just about filming, and then they pulled the plug on it. So once they actually start filming, then we're going to get better, more anticipated, more excited about it. But the interesting thing is the press release that Warner Brothers and DC issued with this gave at least two hints as to what we could be seeing in the movie. The first off, it said that Gal Gadot will be playing Diana Prince / Wonder Woman. So that leads a lot of people to assume, and they've even hinted at this in the past, that Wonder Woman will not actually appear in her full tactical costume until the end of the film, in the third act most likely. So she's going to be Diana through the most of the filming. And even a picture popped up online the other day. I'll see if I can grab it. I don't know if I can still find it. They may have pulled it, but of Gal Gadot actually filming. And I mean, it's a very blurry image. It's taken from a cell phone, so you can't really get a lot of detail. But it doesn't look as though she's put on a lot of muscle. Like it doesn't. I mean, she still looks very slender, very sleek. Again, until official photos get released, I'm reserving my judgment because again, it was an out of left field casting decision. But everybody else who they've cast in this movie has been almost very unique. You know, you have Jesse Eisenberg as Lex Luthor, but you also have Ray Fisher, who, that was the other thing too, Ray Fisher, who is playing the role of Cyborg, or was cast as Cyborg, or Victor Stone, was not even mentioned in it, which leads a lot of people to assume that he's not even going to be listed as Cyborg in the movie. He's just going to be Victor Stone, and eventually, most likely in Justice League, become Cyborg, or they could even be saving him for a future Justice League movie and just introducing the character of Victor Stone to be used at a later date. We don't know yet. But it looks as though the movie is primarily going to be Batman and Superman fighting, or at least their conflict, and then we're also going to get little sprinkles of a Justice League introduction in it. And one other thing that to add on top of this as well, Kevin Smith, remember a while ago I talked about how Kevin Smith had seen the suit. He had been shown the suit by Zack Snyder, and he actually just gave an update on what he saw. So the picture that was released about, I think it was last week or 2 weeks ago, was not the photo that he saw. The photo that he saw was of Ben Affleck in the Batsuit on a fake rooftop, but it was in full color. And so he said the reason why he gave Zack Snyder a big hug after he saw the photo was because of the colored version of the Batsuit that he saw. So we saw a black and white version. A lot of people have been speculating that it could just be black and light gray, or dark gray and light gray, or possibly blue and light gray, the very iconical Batman. Well, it looks as though, based on what Kevin Smith has said, we're going to be getting the blue and gray suit. He said that if you want to see, he goes, if you want to see what the suit looks like, go to The Dark Knight Returns, go to book 3, and it is Hunt the Dark Knight is what it's called. And that suit there is it's a dark faded blue for the cowl, the cape, the gauntlets, and the boots. And then it is a very kind of light blue, or a light gray for the suit, and then obviously the yellow utility belt. So this is a very unique type of suit that we're going to be seeing. I'm very excited to see this. But if we actually do get any more photos or any more news about this, I will definitely update you guys on here. And let me know what you guys think in the comment section. Let me know what your guys' thoughts are on the title, on the suit, on everything Batman vs. Superman. Go ahead and put a comment in the comment section. Alright, so the next part we have to talk about on Hot Topics is about the probable timeline of the Star Wars movies that are going to be coming out. So, again, we have Hasbro to thank for this. A couple months ago, Hasbro potentially leaked the upcoming slate of Paramount films, including Transformers and Transformers 5, and their possible planned release date. Well, it looks like they've done it again. And this time, though, it's with Star Wars. And so during an event, there were a couple of people from certain websites that were in attendance at this major event. And on the screen, a potential list was unveiled. And the list reads as follows. Episode 7, 2015. Boba Fett, 2016. Episode 8, 2017. Solo, 2018. Episode 9, 2019. Red 5, 2020. The cool thing about this is, first off, I haven't known if they were still sticking to their guns with releasing the episodic films every other year. Every Star Wars movie up until this point has been 3-year gaps, giving them plenty of time to work out the story, work out everything that they need to, work on the special effects, because post-production on these movies takes a hell of a lot of time. And for them to do one every 2 years is very interesting. Second off, we've known for a while that Boba Fett was going to be one of the spin-off films. It's all but been confirmed. There's people who know people who are working on these films that have confirmed. They're like, nope, yep, I mean, I'm not going to reveal my sources, but it is happening. So I've seen those comments and those videos online. We also knew that a potential Han Solo spin-off movie was coming. Now, this one is just called Solo. Again, this is not official from Lucasfilm, from Disney, or from Kathleen Kennedy, or from J.J. Abrams, or anybody involved in the current Star Wars movie universe. But a potential Han Solo origin story, or a young Han Solo movie, has always been rumored to be in development. Now this one here is just called Solo. That could lead to either a Han Solo origin story, a younger Han Solo movie, or it could potentially lead with the Solo offspring, depending on how they treat them in the movies. If the Solo kids are involved in Episode 7 and potentially Episode 8, in Episode 8 they could leave, or they could split apart, or something could happen where one of them is no longer part of the episodic trilogy. And so then they still want to continue on with that story and still branch this universe out, which is what they're attempting to do with these movies. Theoretically, we're going to be getting a new Star Wars movie every year for the end of for the rest of the time. But the one that's really intriguing is Red 5. Now, for those of you who don't know what Red 5 is, Red 5 was Luke Skywalker's call sign when he was in the X-Wing fighter group during the Battle of Yavin in Episode 4, A New Hope. Now, other people have taken up that mantle because it's just a call sign for the Red Squadron of X-Wing fighters. Now, a lot of people have been speculating this means we're getting a Luke movie set between Episodes 4 and 5. I highly doubt they're going to do that. That's really pigeonholing themselves. It's bringing back a character people have already known. We've explored past that point in their life. No one wants to see Luke without any Jedi powers or without any Force powers or anything of that sort. I have a feeling this may be a kind of like an air combat space type movie set in the Star Wars universe, which I think would be just absolutely cool, especially considering that the best parts of all the Star Wars movies have been the space battles, but the overall storyline does not allow for a lot of these big space battles to happen, because, you know, there's things that happen in planets, inside the ships, you know, what have you. Lots of different things are happening, and they don't get the chance of doing that. This movie could solely take care of that need or that want of people that want to have stuff like that. So if this does end up being real, this is really cool. It confirms two things that we've already known, and it gives us something else to speculate on, because Alan Horn, the director and CEO of Disney, came out a while ago and said that they're actively developing at least 3 spin-off films. So this is the 3 right here. The other thing I have to say, because again, this hasn't been confirmed, Red 5 could be and I heard this on another website and a couple of comment sections on there, so I thought I'd bring it up. It could be what's called a blue harvest. For those of you who don't know what I mean by that, when Star Wars Episode 6, Return of the Jedi, was going into production, in order to protect themselves from onlookers or people finding out about the production, they called the movie Blue Harvest, which is a reference to the blue milk on the first Episode 4. And if that's the case, this could just be a mystery project. We don't know exactly what it could be. I'm hoping that it's based on the Red Squadron, because Red 5 is going to be the name that the majority of people out there who know what this is would know what that is. Like the majority of people out there who would remember Star Wars would remember Red 5 as being Luke. Or it's more recognizable. There's a higher chance that it would be. So there's a lot of hope there. I don't know if that's going to be real, and I don't know if this early out in the game that they would have that information be leaked. And I don't think that someone like J.J. Abrams would allow Hasbro to get the call sheet for what the movies are going to be. This may just be an educated guess. It could be a bunch of different things, but if we do get any updated information or official announcements from Lucasfilm or Disney or Kathleen Kennedy or J.J. Abrams, I will definitely update you guys on here. All right, now it's time for Rapid Fire. And so Rapid Fire is a segment where we go through any sorts of little bits of information that have updated on projects that we've already talked about, or little updates that don't really have a lot of information to go into detail about. So let's get started on the first Rapid Fire segment. The first Rapid Fire segment actually ties in with our last segment. So it's again about Star Wars, and J.J. Abrams has actually released an on-set video from the set in Abu Dhabi on the set of Star Wars. Now, it's a charitable video, and it's basically letting people know that if they go to this website and donate, the charity that they are donating to will be UNICEF. I believe it's UNICEF. I'd have to double check that. But essentially what's happening is anyone who donates basically gets a ballot, and depending on how much you donate will give you a different amount of ballots. And whoever gets their ballot pulled, or whoever wins, gets a VIP access to the set in London at Shepperton Studios. They get put in hair and makeup and costume fitting. They get to be an extra in the movie. Now, it's most likely going to be in a crowd scene, so you won't be able to see them. But still, it's very, very cool that they're doing this. But the main thing from the video was that it's all for charity. The main thing to take away from the video, there's two things actually. One, you can tell that it's a marketplace set in Tatooine. So It almost removes all possibilities that Tatooine is not going to be in the film. It pretty much confirms that it is. The second thing, real practical effects. That creature that walked up, even like, yeah, it was a puppet. Absolutely. It was an animatronic puppet. It looked cool. It looked Star Wars. It looked real for Star Wars. It wasn't CG. It wasn't anything like that. It was real. And the whole video, even though they wanted to get this across for the charity, the whole video was for that. To showcase that they are using practical effects, to showcase that they are not going full CG, that they are going back to the roots of what Star Wars was all about. And that fills me with so much hope. I am so excited for this film. The more and more that we get teased about it, the better and better and better it becomes. Speaking of teasing, actually, I'm going to go back to the first story. The one thing that I'm really surprised about with Warner Brothers and Batman vs. Superman now, I mean, I know we've been asking for these things, like show us the Batmobile, show us Batman in the Batsuit, give us the title already. What are they going to give away at Comic-Con? Like, what's going to be their big unveiling at Comic-Con? Are we actually going to see footage? I doubt that they would do that now they pushed the release dates so far back. But, like, are they going to show, is that going to be the first unveiling of all three of them? I mean, it almost, at face value, it almost seems like there's not a lot left for them to unveil, with the exception of them all together in the same shot. And that, to me, I don't believe is going to be enough of an unveiling to break Comic-Con the way that they did last year. But anyway, I'm getting off topic. Let me know if you guys think that was the right decision, or what could potentially be what Warner Brothers is going to reveal at Comic-Con in terms of Batman vs. Superman. Just go ahead and put that in the comment section. All right, the next section of Rapid Fire is, with the Lego movie being so successful and so good back in February, in certain markets, it's still in theaters, we already know they are moving full steam ahead on a sequel. The Lego Movie 2 is expected to be released May 26th, 2017. So we still got a few years to go. But we are getting a Lego Ninjago video, or Lego Ninjago movie, September 23rd, 2016. So we're getting this movie before Lego 2. They are working out a Lego cinematic universe of sorts where they are going to be expanding. I mean, even in the Lego movie, they talked about all the different lands that there are, that Lord Business and President Business oversees. And now that we know that more of these areas are going to be explored, we know full well that Ninjago is going to be included. And Ninjago, for those of you who haven't seen it, that you can watch it on YouTube. There's a couple of clips on there. This looks like a hell of a lot of fun. It's the Lego movie, but more action oriented. You know, they're ninjas essentially, but the weapons that they use are the powers that they get. It's like Power Rangers almost. You know, they grab a hold of their weapons and they turn into these ninjas, and it looks so much fun. It looks so cool. And I'm drawing a blank on his name, but the guy who directed the Tron Uprising animated series is directing this movie. And for those of you who haven't seen the Tron Uprising animated series, it's actually really good storytelling. The storylines that they pull in are really unique and dramatic and very, very just intriguing. There's a lot of backstory to it. It's not a kids show per se. It's got a lot of adult themes to it, which I thought was really cool. So that movie is set to hit on September 23rd, 2016, tying into Lego Movie 2, which will be released May 26, 2017. They're opening up their cinematic universe, which is really cool. I'm very excited for this project moving forward. And the last topic that we have on Rapid Fire today is actually they filled out the cast for Point Break. So we already knew that Troy Bracey, I believe his name is. I'm drawing a blank on his name. Correct me in the comment section. I do apologize for that. But Gerard Butler was originally poised to play Bodhi, but he dropped out due to scheduling conflicts with London Has Fallen. And so now Edgar Ramirez has been brought in to replace him. So Edgar Ramirez visually can look a lot like Gerard Butler. I don't know how well he can play up the gravitas. I haven't really liked Edgar Ramirez in a lot of stuff that I've seen him in. He's a very good actor, don't get me wrong, but he's such a serious actor that I don't know if he can embody that role. But I mean, only time will tell. But the production has actually announced an official commencement of filming for June 26th. So the movie's going to start filming in about a month. But this is where it differs, to me at least, from the original. So Point Break was an amazing film that came out in 1990. It was directed by Catherine Bigelow, who has now gone on to direct Hurt Locker, Zero Dark 30, and so on. It starred Keanu Reeves and Patrick Swayze and Gary Busey. Now we have, in the Gary Busey role, we have Ray Winstone. In the Patrick Swayze role, we have now Edgar Ramirez, and then we have Mr. Bracey in the role that Keanu Reeves played, Johnny Utah. But this is where it gets intriguing. The movie will shoot in Germany, Austria, Italy, Mexico, Venezuela, the French Polynesia, and India. And they are also going to be utilizing over a dozen professional extreme sports athletes, such as surfers, snowboarders, motorcyclists, wingsuit experts, and free climbers. So people who scale mountains without ropes. They just, put chalk on their hands and go for it. This is intriguing. This is a very different movie that we could be getting. It won't just be focusing on surfing. It'll be across the board. And with them going this far to actually get these people involved. Now, what this tells me, when they're getting these people involved, we're going to be right up close with the action. A lot of this stuff's going to be practical. I'm getting a very Need for Speed vibe, which to me is cool because of, I really enjoyed Need for Speed. Obviously, like, the character development could have been better, but that's not what I was going in for. Same with this. I'm not going to be going in to be hoping that, Edgar Ramirez is right there to get that Oscar nom. And I know that's why he hasn't signed on for that either. He's doing it because there's something about it that's really intriguing to him. That's really, unique and different and something that he hasn't done before. So I'm getting more and more excited about this project as I hear more and more about it. But there's a mosquito or something. But yeah, like, the more and more that we get from this, especially once filming starts, we start getting photos from on the set, we start getting videos, and eventually the trailer. The movie is supposed to open up sometime next year in 2015. I believe it is the summer. But yeah, I'm getting more and more excited for this. Obviously, the movie's probably not going to be all that great, but it'll be entertaining. The thing that's got me, though, is the practical effects. And I'm a sucker for practical effects. I love eye candy. Do not get me wrong. I love special effects when they're used properly. Pacific Rim, loved it. And that was almost an entirely CG movie. You look at Rise of the Planet of the Apes. That's almost an entirely CG movie. But yet it's such a good film. When it's used right, CGI can be amazing, but practical will 9 times out of 10 win out when you do stuff like this. When it's not someone in front of a green screen, when it's them actually doing something and falling, or rock climbing, and you're not having to put a green screen behind them and put a fake mountain behind them or anything of that sort. So this gives me a lot of confidence in this project. It is moving in the right direction so far. Because at the end of the day, a lot of people will say, well, I don't really care about it. We don't need it. It's like, okay, that's fine. It's coming. It's coming. You don't need to see it, but if it is on its way, they are doing it so far the right way. So until we get more information, this is all we have on it. Let me know in the comment section what you guys think about it and whether or not you think this is a right move, whether you think you would do it, if you wouldn't do it, let me know in the comment section. Well, that'll about do it for us here on Coming Soon Movie News with Niklsun. Thank you so much, guys, for watching. You've been a great audience. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. You can click in the corner here and click subscribe. You can also click below me here and go to our website, www.movienewswithniklsun.ca. And on that website, you can actually go to the contact section, and through there you can email in your questions for Friday episodes where we answer all user-submitted questions and topics. So anything that you guys want to talk about, revolving movies or anything of that sort that you have that you want to have addressed or that you want to have talked about, go ahead on that website and send in your comments there. Or you can actually message me on Twitter. You can follow me on Twitter at Niklsun, Niklsun, to get all of your movie updates and information. And also you can ask me some questions on there and I will do a live tweet right back to you. So this has been Niklsun. Thank you so much for watching. You guys have been great. And don't forget to check back on Friday's episode where we break down our review for X-Men Days of Future Past. I am so excited for this movie. I've talked to a couple people who've seen it. They are raving about this movie. I am so excited. Cannot wait for it. So yeah, definitely check back for Coming Soon reviews on Friday. Take care.